today's video. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about hammers, mallets, and what they do, what you can use them for, what's the difference, and when you should use them each, and a little history about them. So hopefully you find it interesting. Let's get into the video. The first thing to get out of the way is what is their general classification, even more broad than a hammer versus mallet. Both the hammer and mallet fall into a category of tools known as striking tools. That means that they generally have a handle and a head that's meant for hitting something. Sometimes it's to hit something in like a nail or compress it, but generally they're known as striking tools. Some interesting history about them is that the hammer has been found over 3.3 million years ago. It was basically just like a rock with some twine around a stick, but it was used over 3 million years ago by a type of human that doesn't really exist anymore, but hammers are very functional and have been building things for literally millions of years. The mallet, on the other hand, has not quite been around so long. Only about the 1850s was it started to get some popularity. It was created by this guy named Robert Mallet, who was this geo-engineer from a location, and he needed something to more softly tap in items. So he created a single wooden shaft as long as with some sort of like a rubbery, more compression, but a weighted head to invent the mallet. That's his name, Robert Mallet. So he created the mallet in the 1850s. Not quite around as long, but still nonetheless very useful in today's day and age. Now, as you may have noticed, the main difference between a hammer and a mallet is their head material. Hammers are generally made of something very firm, very strong and hard, such as a steel or titanium. Like this one's a steel one right here. This one, they come in different sizes. This one's like probably about a 20 ounce, something like that, medium weight. And there's also smaller ones, like this one is, I believe, a 8 or a 10 ounce, which just not super functional, but for light jobs, it can get the job done. Mallets, on the other hand, generally have a bit more weight to them. This one's a 32 ounce, so it's 2 pounds heavy. So it's definitely going to have some weight to it, but that's going to help really solidify those hits when it's not going to have quite the same firmness that this head does. A hammer is going to be used for driving in items such as a nail really firmly. With a hammer, you don't want a bounce back. You want it to go straight through, and that's what the hammer's steel or very firm head is going to do. The mallet, on the other hand, because it's out of like a firm rubber, it's not going to have quite the same force down. As it strikes, it's going to absorb some of that impact, so that it's still going to be like a pushing force, but it's going to be more absorbed and much cleaner and not quite as direct. You can also see that the face of the hammer is very small, whereas the mallet is so large. That helps distribute the weight of the blow. So on a hammer, you might be putting 20-pound hits into a nail, whereas the mallet might be that 20-pound hit magnified over a large area onto an entire piece of wood, so it doesn't damage it, yet still applies a good force. For beginner carpenters, and if you're not doing anything too serious, a hammer is going to be what you're going to use 80% of the time, and should definitely be in everyone's toolbox, just because it does nails and screws, if you're whatever. It does everything so well that you're going to want a hammer. However, if you're doing a little bit more work, or maybe some interior work, finishing work, or if you're joining pieces of wood together, like sliding them together, sometimes you need to slide them into a slit, which you need a little bit of force, but you don't want to damage them, whereas this one just going to make a big hard mark on it, whereas the mallet's going to be nice and soft. So then you're going to want a mallet. A mallet can work on, like I said, interior finish work a little bit nicer, and also maybe some metal work, if you're trying to push down some metal, or trying to just move things into place. Like say you have wood that's a little bit out of alignment, you can use that mallet to just hit that back a little bit using the weight of the 2 pounds head, or heavier, a little lighter, and really give that some good force. Yet again, it's distributed, so it's not going to damage it. I hope you found this video useful. Like I said, hammer should be in everyone's toolbox. A mallet, not super expensive. If you're thinking you're going to use it, you might as well. I mean, you can get some cheap ones, just wood and rubber, for $10 or less. It might not be the greatest quality, but it's going to do what its job is, to be heavy and absorb some of that impact on jobs where you don't want to damage the surface, where a hammer might do that. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you want to learn more about us or the tool belts we sell, you can visit our website, rdawg.com. That's rdawg.com. Leave a comment too if you want, and we'll see you next time. Thanks. Have a good day.